All right, there's a lot of Jump news. Let's give it a lightning round because one I want to start with here is Red Hood's place in the rankings because that's one that concerns me. Therm Therm.
Woo boy, woo boy. All right, so that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one is interesting. So Red Hood, it's funny because Red Hood's actually really, really good, but I honestly don't know uh, why Japan isn't a fan of it. So far to me, it's been good in my opinion, but I honestly don't know. I honestly really don't know.
It's kind
Like
of the
it's
same effect that because both of us liked Hardboiled Cop, but it had that same effect back while it was ending, and it was right when it was getting to the plot, and it's where we're getting to the plot now in Red Hood, because I it's almost like one Japan is tired with training arcs. You feel what I mean there?
yeah,
And I can agree. Like, I don't really care for training arcs. They have always kind of bored me, but the way Red Hood's handling it is kind of unique in their stuff. It's like a Brothers Grimm style story while also tying into the actual power system and how their world functions, like the bait and switch here with the cuffs that are going on right now. But every time we get to a training arc in Jump, I've noticed this trend. Like, that's usually when you see a big dip in the ratings. So,
yeah, it's interesting because when it comes to that in particular, like that particular thing, like Red Hood, like it's actually going at a pretty good pace in my
mm,
personal opinion. You know, like the first few chapters were actually at a pretty decent pace, and the fact of the matter is that it was pretty. Haha, bitch, got you. Ah, sorry, playing the game, playing card game. It's struggle right now, but the thing is, it was always been a essentially a situation to where uh, like it had a good start. You know, we introduced the main character, introduced what the world is about. Like the author knows how to write, in my personal
mm-hmm.
opinion. Like, the way it's he's writing a bit slow. Like he's writing like he was from like the '90s. You know what I mean? Building things up. And unfortunately, I think like we talked about with Kishimoto and with Kubo, like all the old authors now who are still stuck in like that old writing style, is that in today's Jump, it's harder to essentially win in that type of economy because sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Because today's Jump is a more fast paced, like uh quick, getting to the point quicker in this day and age is seen as way more intriguing to some people than just taking your time. We see this with Black Clover. Black Clover is an extremely fast-paced series. Now I think it should slow down a bit because Tabata doesn't have to worry about being axed anymore. Your series is like what 17 million or 15
Not good
million,
enough.
and so that's so stupid. Age,
It
age we're
really
so young.
is, man. It really is.
We're in an age where 15 to 17 million isn't enough for a long running series, but I guess people are literally that's the one thing I hate about this new generation. My Hero, Demon Slayer, and JJK have corrupted these new kids now with these shit. It's so bad. Like especially since most shit in the '90s were only making like what 17 and 18, but they're still
I
very
really
popular.
want to go back down the annals of history and see what went where. Because I can almost guarantee shit like Slam Dunk wasn't pulling numbers like Demon Slayer and look at where the fuck it's at.
Yeah,
Uh
100%. Honestly, that can be another video. That can be another stream. I'm down to do that.
I
But
want to
anyway,
light a fire under the asses of every fucking number cruncher. Uh,
yeah. So it's just like stuff like that, right? Like we have, a lot. Like even My Hero was a bit faster paced than before.
Well,
how
it's
it
also
was. So,
wrapping up too, and that's a point I want to get to eventually.
yeah, we'll talk about the ending of shit soon. Rest in peace, Doctor Stone. But even like Doctor Stone was I wouldn't say slower, but like like a lot of series of our era, have been very more faster paced than usual, and a lot of like the slower play series, like Guardian of the Witch, View Cameo Let's Loose, like a lot of like these types of series, like have been even like Hardboiled Kaufman Doffman was a very slow, but I mean it lasted a year until it got axed, So like a lot of these series that are also on the uptake seem to be falling on the wayside with only maybe like a few of the slower paced ones making the cut. Like Mission Yozakura Family. Woo, y'all niggas got lucky. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to roast the author. I'm not trying to roast the series. The series is fine. It's enjoyable, but you niggas got lucky.
If
Okay.
it wasn't for the insane
top
amount of axing fodder, Mission
you got
Yozakura Family would not be getting the stage it's getting now with 10 fucking 10 projects, mind
family,
you.
bro.
10! I want to get to that too. This is why I said this is going to be a long ass stream, but now we can't really have a long ass stream, so we're having to condense all of our fucking thoughts, like me crunching a paper at 3 a.m. during my bachelor's classes, okay?
But
Fueled by nothing
Mission
but
Yozakura,
Adderall and bad decisions.
Mission Yozakura was like put by the wayside just because like literally
Because I had
Mitama
shit like
Security
a
Busters.
gravity board.
Literally, if you hate gag, you got lucky because Matama Security Busters was a gag series and it was neck and neck with Mission Yozakura Family. Same time, literally a chapter apart. That one got axed. And like, I remember back in the day when they were both running, people were debating which one was going to get axed, Matama Security Busters or Mission Yozakura Family, because they were neck and neck. And Matama Security Busters got the axe when it was going for a year. Same with Mission Yozakura Family. You guys got hella lucky. Hella lucky.
Could you imagine the alternate timeline? Like, I'm fucking Doctor Strange here in Infinity War, where, like, I'm going through all the different dimensions, all the different probabilities of the fight with Thanos. Could you imagine a fucking timeline where Mintama Security Busters was on the fucking jump stage? Here's 10 projects for Mintama Security Busters.
It's so funny because people gag hate boners would be all over it, bro. People who hate gag.
There's no fights in this. How dare you?
It's so funny.
Where's the pretty little beams?
It's so hilarious to me. But going back to Red Hood, like, so it's definitely on a slower pace, which I like, and it's building up a lot of stuff. It's unfortunate that it's not being, because even like Nero, I'm actually liking so far. It's a really interesting.
Zero thoughts about Nier right now.
It's an interesting concept in my opinion, but it's just like I think it's.
It has that identity
I don't know,
crisis.
man. Japan just has different criteria. They're very into like the traditional Japanese culture types of stuff. Like I'm shocked Black Clover made it, to be honest, because I don't think they're really a big a fan of like I mean they are like somewhat like like more European style manga, like so they're hit or misses, you know what I mean? But like they're really into like their own cultural stuff, so it makes sense, They're very prideful on that. So anything like Demon Slayer, JJK that has a lot of like Japanese like cultural stuff, they're gonna eat up. Not all the time, of course, because I know there was a samurai manga running in Shonen magazine called Ganka Benkai, which I liked. Only 7 chapters, though, translated. But it didn't do well, according to that guy who did the podcast crunching the numbers for Jump, which is cool. I actually subscribe to him. He does a lot of good stuff, by the way. But I recommend him if you guys want to check him out.
I'll link his thing in this archive.
You know what I'm talking about.
Whoa, Red! What the fuck is this?
Oh, our baby boy!
Let me put your avatar up here. There's a wild Red.
Enjoy ambient car ride noises as I leave work.
It's so funny. Why did I hear Why did I hear John Cena music play as soon as he came in?
Thank you for the hype. I do. Is anyone, literally anyone, watching on
Yeah,
Twitch right now? I'm very
we
curious.
got our usual offenders here in the chat. That's why
I
we
love you, usual offenders, so much. Like, unironically, thank you. You guys are awesome.
So
Thurman, did you see my retweet of the tweet that you retweeted in our ongoing war of you're fucking overreacting to this Dr. Stone shit?
No, I have not seen that yet.
Go check it out.
My notifications are off, bro.
I'm just pulling on chat's leg here, calling them the usual offenders. You two and Zangetsu and One Smart are here every stream, and I fucking love having a normal, usual audience, but I have no name for our community currently.
The Chaosers, the control.
No, that's awful.
That's horrendous.
Our Chaos Cult. The Chaos Cult or something. I don't fucking.
Can I just say something? Do you feel the energy right now? This feels like OG controlled chaos.
Right?
So, like, listen, back to what we were talking about, right?
Before John Cena
came in. So, basically, right, Red Hood, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say, right, like, the series itself is bad. It's not in my. It's really not in my opinion. But I think like I was saying before, I think slower paced series are essentially kind of like
it's not what's in anymore.
Yeah, so like at the start, because like most of the stuff that started now, like I'm trying to think of a series that's more slow, but most of the stuff that's in the magazine now is more or less been fast paced, at least to me. Like Dr. Stone.
I would argue Dr. Stone. Well, Dr. Stone, it had like a bombastic opening, like oh my god, but then it was like slow for like 20 chapters, in my opinion.
Yeah. So it's just like it's hit or miss, right? And like Red Hood is a very 90s. We're going to build up to what we need to do series, and a lot of people like that, but then a lot of people don't. Like I say, like Japan's taste are different from ours. You know what I mean? So we can't really be like, oh, they're like because like I said, like they're more into like the cultural like stuff. Like JJK are extremely more popular out there because it has a lot of like Japanese culture in it, with the demons and stuff like that. At the same time, that's not also what they like because a series, like I was just telling David, a series in Shonen magazine which had the same aesthetic didn't do well,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really hard to kind of gauge what people like, but I do think that long running is like really dying as a format, which is a shame because it's the type of thing that with our fucking rotted millennial Gen Z brains, like we can't appreciate it as it's happening. But like if you were able to like push the fast forward button, people love binging. You know what I mean? So if you let these long running series go and not get canceled, they'd probably turn out to be awesome. But it's just that we can't appreciate it as it's happening. And even I'm an offender of this, like giving up on Burn the Witch in 2 chapters. Like I imagine if that was like a weekly thing, I'd probably love it.
I don't know. I don't know about Burn the Witch, but I definitely felt that, and this is what I've been doing a lot recently, and Red's spot on, like the binging culture that we've begun to do, is I sat down recently, because the Aruma-kun anime was doing that, is doing these like streams, plug, of sitting down and reading the series that the community recommends, and one that got continuously recommended was Aruma-kun, and I fucking adore that. The same with J-Sama, same with even fucking sitting down, because I never read the original Devilman. I never did.
The Devilman Crybaby?
Well,
I guess it wasn't. What became Devilman Crybaby?
Well, it was adapted into that, but I never read the original source material. I watched the OVA back in the 90s.
You know what's funny? Just gonna put this out there. Allie, my girlfriend, for anyone who has forgotten, loves Devilman Crybaby. And at one point we were at the mall, and I was like, oh, I saw like the book, and I was like, oh, do you want me to get that? And she said that she didn't like the artwork at all in the actual manga, and she only liked it at like the Netflix one. I'd be curious if you thought the same or not.
It's rough, but it has that like 70s art style. Like everybody has same face syndrome. And that's something I hate about like retro manga, but I respect what it's culturally done. Another one that I sat down and read recently, just out of blue at work, because I've had like a week of slow, dead fucking days.
Same. I feel like we're hitting a slowdown and just like the consumerism.
Yeah,
Must be
which is
nice.
fine with me. Like, if I can sit
I
around and
suppose
read
not
manga.
Thurman, right?
No,
No.
not where he's working.
There will never be a slowdown on Amazon.
No.
People need their dildos,
peak
and they
right
need
now.
them now.
But like the other one I sat down and read was fucking Soul Eater. I sat down and reread all of Soul Eater.
Bro, I would suck that author off. Just
And
right now.
I just forgot how much better that read, because I read it as it came out near the end. How much better that flows is something that you binge.
Yeah,
Oh my
honestly,
God, yeah.
honestly speaking, I think I think, and this is my personal opinion. I don't know if you guys can agree with this. Or not. I think certain series are better binged than
Oh, yeah.
read weekly.
Oh yeah.
I think
of them, I would argue.
yeah, like I think like I think it pertains to arcs too. Like I think like Bleach, perfect example, right?
Oh God, yes.
Dude, Bleach was a fucking nightmare weekly.
I think like specifically like the Fullbring arc. I think
Fuck
maybe
the
would
Fullbring
be more
arc.
enjoyable.
It is better as a binge.
Yeah, if I binge it. You know what I
Reading
mean?
that
So-
weekly wanted me to gouge my eyes out.
Dude, Thurman, I need you to go to a random Fullbring chapter and just read just the chapter and then really sit down and imagine, wow, that's what those people got for a whole week. Like remember the chapter where Ichigo goes to like his new like that job place he works at, like the with the hot MILF girl.
Yeah.
And then they talk for a second, and then Ginjao comes in and offers him ramen, and that's the whole chapter. That one's legendary. Remember that? He walks in and he's like, "Would you like some ramen?" And then like that was the cliffhanger.
Oh.
Incredible.
So yeah, so like I definitely think that's a certain series, and that's why like I wanted to talk about this too, because another topic I want to talk about was like long running series versus short running series. I don't know what it is, but I think to me, I think certain series have to be long running for them to be good, in my personal opinion. Like I know. Wait, let me finish. I know it sounds weird for me to say that, but let me explain what I mean.
Oh yeah, I was literally just gonna say, please expand on that. I'm interested.
Okay. So let me put it to it like this, right? There are certain like One Piece. I'm gonna use Black Clover One Piece as a means of like what I mean, because I think in my head I'm gonna try to make it see as much sense as possible. So in One Piece, right? I in my personal opinion, I think One Piece, like if it wasn't long running, would only be like maybe like a 7 out of 10 in my personal opinion. Like if let's say it stopped at like Annie's Lobby or something like that, you know what I mean, or something like that, right? And same with like Black Clover, right? I don't think it should end at 300 because there's still a lot that Tabata wants to do with it. You know what I mean? Like if it ended now, it would only be like a 7 in my personal opinion,
right?
Because it's still a lot. And then and let's take My Hero for example. My Hero's ending. But if I'm being honest with you, I feel like My Hero should be a longer series. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want these authors to work themselves to death. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that certain series,
optimal story. Yeah.
Certain series work better longer, while others work better shorter. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you mind if I jump in?
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying. I would say though, it's hard to make that argument coherent because the reason that One Piece works better as a long-running series is because Oda paced it for a longer-running series.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what
what I mean. Yeah.
So they I feel like authors make that choice towards the beginning of how they're gonna pace. That really is what it comes down to, because like I remember, I've read stories that are like 50 chapters, 80 chapters, 100 chapters that feel more complete than stories that are like 700 chapters. You know what I mean? And it really does just come down to how authors are able to wrap shit up. So like Bleach is a perfect example of bad pacing, and you have to admit this. Like the man did like, so by the time you can kind of see this if you read through the manga, towards the end, it's like someone writing a research paper and they have to like use a certain amount of words, and then the last paragraph they use all the words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like almost nothing was revealed about like the big questions that you needed answered throughout the whole series, and then he crams it into the final arc, right? So like, you know, most of like we still had so many Bankais to go, and you see like literally if you ever read the final arc of Bleach, Thurman, in the last 40 chapters of Bleach, we get a new Bankai like every 2 chapters. Like Bankai. You can see he's like desperately trying to gotta show this guy's Bankai. Gotta show this guy. So that
and we still didn't get every reveal that we should have. A lot of them happened in the fucking light novels.
Oh yeah, like that's how bad at pacing he was. So really, I think One Piece could have worked. It wouldn't have been as grand because I think part of what makes One Piece so grand is the sheer scale of it. But I think every author individually has to kind of make that choice when they're starting. Like, what can I do? What can I handle? What is my ability? Like, you know, and I agree with you 100% on My Hero Academia. I felt it just doesn't feel that world doesn't feel developed enough to me, but that just might be, I don't know if time will ever fix that. That just might be Horikoshi's limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think I was thinking about this because I really feel like a lot of people want a series to end so early and I'm like no, I think there's something wrong with it. If an author wants to keep writing, let them write. You know, obviously there's going to be some authors who write themselves in a corner, or like you said with Kubo or when Kishimoto, for example, just, you know, but like if you're still enjoying
the literal dart at the wall, like, we need to show the stakes of this war. Who's going to die?
because it's just like to me, I think certain series like are good when they're shorter, and other series are good when they're longer. Like Dead Man Wonderland, you know, Soul Eater, like Dr. Stone,
Even
I
Soul
think
Eater could have done well to flesh out more.
Yeah,
well, Soul Eater notoriously ended like way too quick, didn't it?
Yeah, well, it's because he wanted to make something else, and then he went and did a spin-off, and then made Fire Force, and now he's retiring.
Because it's just like, for me with Dr. Stone, like all the memes aside though, like Dr. Stone, I think is actually at a pretty good ending spot right now.
Yeah,
me too. We were saying this a couple reviews ago. Like I remember like maybe 20, 30 reviews ago, we were like, it's starting to feel endgamey.
Yeah, I mean, we really called that, and
it feels like a very natural endpoint to me.
Yeah. So and then when I bring it up, I'm just like, yeah, I'm sad that it's in the final arc, but like to me, Dr. Stone is at that middle ground where it could end right now and still be good, or it can continue and still be good. Like I do have my issue because it felt like the past few chapters we've been rushing it, and Party Jam's quarter said what I was feeling about it, but it's just like, you know, stuff like Black Clover, like One Piece, like those being long running are actually helping them, because the way I'm the new improved, you know, post time skip Thurman, right? Like me, how I judge a series now, I like judging a series quality when it ends rather than like after each arc, in my personal opinion. I think that's a better gauge. So like with One Piece, once One Piece ends, I think I will then be able to give a full undivided ranking, because reading a series weekly and then binging it is a completely different experience. I don't care what anyone says. Completely different experience. There are something. David is the primary example of this, right? Back when he had his hate boner for Black Clover, right? He read it probably weekly, only read like 10 chapters, hated it.
I read it to the Seabed Temple arc weekly, and then I'm like, ugh.
Post time skip, he binged it, he loved it.
Yeah.
Man, you know what I mean? So like that is to me as a huge factor to it. And I'm gonna be honest, if Black Clover ended this arc or the next arc over, I have to be honest, it'll only be like a 7 out of 10 for me.
Maybe I mean, right now 6, I have it literally like teased for the top 10. I only have it ranked at a 6.5 because it's still missing that.
Hello, wait a minute. How
the
fuck could Black Clover be in your top 10 but be a 6.5?
No, this was me reading like. I'm ranking everything that I was reading at the time. It's not going to be anywhere near the top 10.
If it's in your top 10, I will personally shank you.
Okay, please.
That's the one
shank me, Daddy.
Hanako in their top 10.
Yo, you're sitting on Hanako and haven't even read it? Lol. I read 100 and how many goddamn chapters of Black Clover did I read?
You read 110 at JJK, I know that.
That bait was real. Especially,
yeah, I know. I knew it was goddamn bait too, but I took it anyway.
It's funny. It's ironic that you say that too, because that's low key how I used to be back in pre-time skip.
I know.
Shit on the series.
I want to engage chat a little bit here. Like the one that I will 100% agree with the chat here. Right. I definitely feel like Spy X Family would be a better binge than reading bi-weekly.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. I've actually done that. Yeah. Real quick, I just want to say something real quick to Thurman. like low key, to Thurman and to everyone, the most recent chapter of Hanako literally makes the villain of Hanako like in my top 10 villains. Like that's how good it was. So all right, so I don't want to hear no slander. Like that.
I'm not gonna slander a series.
Your fucking profile picture is the creepiest thing on all the Twitter.
That's bro. Slandering, bro. Like that's some pre-time skip David or Red shit.
Dude, my new profile picture, it's like giving me like gender euphoria, but for profile pictures. Like I when I tweet now, it feels more powerful. Like
that creepy thing is staring into my goddamn soul. I'm sorry.
Isn't it great?
So now those of you in the chat who's like, why does he keep saying post time skip and pre-time skip? Listen. We
were all different people when we started this channel.
Lay it down, Thurman.
Let me give you some side history, okay? The three of us were pretty shitty back in the day, okay?
I mean, everyone's shitty when they're young.
I'm not like shitty as in like, you know, like Donald Trump.
Thurman was out there committing murders.
Yeah. We're not Donald Trump level of shitty, but like we were like low key like pretty bad, right?
Incel-y shit, maybe. Yeah.
Like egotistical, you know. We didn't hate women, but like, you know.
We didn't hate women, but
we wanted to fuck them. All you need is your homies.
We didn't hate women. We didn't hate women, but we wanted to fuck them so bad that we almost hated them.
That's actually really funny. But the reason why we say this, right, is because back in the day, I'm not gonna lie, the friendship was good, but it was low-key kind of toxic.
Oh, us roasting you
now,
on the.
Does that go both ways, or is that just me?
No, all three of us.
Okay, thank God, because I yeah.
Listen, right? They can tell you how bad it was back in the day, and not as bad. Obviously not terrible because they're still here. We're still best friends, of course, but like they can tell you, like, yeah, back in the day, there's some things that he did out. But you know, it's like that. But like the reason I'm bringing
there was weird like toxic masculinity energy, basically. Like we kind of, there was a hierarchy. You know, when you're at like a lunch table and like there's the obvious, like there's the person that everyone makes fun of, like, oh, easy target to make fun of right there. Unfortunately, Thurman was that, and me, who was used to being at like the bottom rung of the totem pole of every group I was in, I took advantage of that. I was like, ooh, like,
power trip.
Oh, don't pretend like we all didn't fucking do it. All right.
So
I'm a poor innocent little waif here.
So it's funny because like when it comes to that, right? We can talk about it now. It's funny now. Back in the day, you know, it probably wasn't so funny. Like from the outside looking in, you probably would be like, "This friendship is toxic. Why are they friends?" sort of thing. Now, now we can make fun of each other about it. It's funny, but it's funny because like back in the day, right? When it comes to series, like let me tell you like some type of toxic shit that we used to have back in the day in the chats. Okay, so Red, pre-time skip Red, right?
Oh no.
He was the type that Hunter x Hunter. If it wasn't Hunter x Hunter, it wasn't the same quality of Hunter x Hunter or One Piece, he wouldn't read it. Like
let me make this more simple for you guys, okay? You know that meme, the Rick and Morty, you have to have a certain IQ? That was me unironically. Like and like that was so me that sometimes I still slip into that because it literally is just me.
Yeah.
So it was just like I would like.
I love that over here. Faboyo's like, I like Red and Thurman, but David is on top. We horny for hot vampire moms.
Wait, hold on there, David, because you're not safe either, bitch.
Fuck him
You're
up.
not safe either, bitch. Okay.
Ooh, talk about the time where he bailed on both of us to go sleep with some motherfucker.
He bailed on both of us to get pussy, bro. It's fine.
Yeah, he bailed on boys' con night when we were going to a con, and he was like, just kidding.
I'm sorry, bros are eternal, pussy is temporary. I had to get him while it was good.
It's funny because back in the day, right? Because the friendship was like it was toxic, but wasn't toxic enough. Like if it continued to get toxic, then yeah. But I think we sort of grew out of it because, like I said, Brett and David can tell cringy stories about me. It is what it is. We've all had that moment. But it's just like when it comes to like manga, we like the glow up for Brett and David, even for me too, because me. And I sort of missed this. I used to read
taught you some shit too.
Like I used to read everything, right? I kind of
to your own detriment. You were killing yourself reading everything, dude.
But because I was just like, because me, quality. Like, there's some series I liked and I didn't like, but I was just really into like reading and watching. So like, I didn't care how bad the series was. I really wanted to finish it. But now after reading these two fucks, I think about like quality. I think about what I'm watching. I analyze everything I read. So it's just like, legitimately, if I'm not enjoying it, I can't stop. I can't, like, back then I could, even if I wasn't enjoying it, I could still watch it and find
that's normal,
good,
right? Like
I could find some positivity in it. But after that, I can't do that no more. It's hard. I drop anime now, and I usually never do that. Literally, I drop watching anime now. Like,
good. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you just have to have a reasonable line, right? Like it's very cringe what I used to do, where like I wouldn't watch anything because I was too hard on all of it. But now, like, I can watch some stuff that is like a 7 out of 10 for me, or a 6 like Jujutsu Kaisen, like, no cap, like 6.5 out of 10 for me. But I still read like over half the series. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed it.
So it was just like, bro, like, when we say post time skip, pre time skip, listen, right? Because back in the day, like, it wasn't all bad. We had great moments, right? It wasn't like a world.
We also had like a heavy influence for like what our group come from too.
Yeah, plus we also, what helped is we dropped a lot of negative people.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, unironically, the second Chris Velasquez left, it became like so much better. I love him. Don't get me wrong. But like, I was trying to impress him too hard, and he was really bad at bullying Thurman.
Well, I also comes down from like, before I drug you into this whole craziness, Red, like Chris, Thurman, Eli back in the day, like, we all were part of that group for a long time, and that was kind of the hierarchy there too, and it just spilled over into our group chat, and now having formed this and cutting out the more toxic side of what was where we came from has definitely helped like establish a true like hierarchy of true friendship. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, we all like had our moments to where like it was just like really, really bad. Like even like when Dustin was here and all the extra stuff like that. It was very it was very
competitively toxic.
Yeah, competitively toxic. Every time like Chris came into a chat, Red was just drooling. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he was hot and funny. All right.
The bi-curiosity like, just wafted over him there.
If you guys want like a history dump, go check like our old podcast from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh God, please don't.
It's longer than that. It's like 4 years ago now.
Yeah, every time Chris would make a generic joke, you would hear Red just be like.
He's so hot and funny. Please fuck me.
Chris might have been like the beginning of my bi-awakening, like unironically.
Because I was just like, and then I was just like, and then Red realized, oh shit, once you go black, you never go back. And
true.
Unironically, Thurman, that was the perfect.
My eyebrows weirdly like Thurman.
Oh.
But it's just funny. So if you guys want a context to that joke, we all do it, right? Because Red.
I hope you enjoyed your 25-minute context.
Hey, that shit was great. We always we can make fun of each other for that toxic shit we did back in the day. Now it's just funny. But like, back then it wasn't so funny. But now it's funny.
When we did that, like, Thurman, that's what introduced me to a lot of what we're seeing now. Is like, with all of what grew, like, you influencing me has led me to read some of these series that are ending. If it hadn't been for you pushing me to read JJK, or pushing me to read Black Clover, or pushing me to read like a lot of these things, like, we wouldn't be able to experience where we're at in this channel now.
And one of the things that I'm really happy that I think all of us got out of was this, like, and one of the reasons why anti-Twitter, like, I try to stay away from anti-Twitter besides like the few people that I follow, is this notion that what we used to do, we used to slander a series that we barely even read or even knew about. Like, I was like me when I used to slander SAO, but like, I would do it too much. Like, I admit that. Like,
I was the same way with Black Clover when we did the early reviews.
I think maturity is realizing that you honestly don't have, like, yeah, every once in a while, to like, just like how I did with Red with Hanako, right? Like, that was funny, But like, I'm not gonna do it like every 5 seconds on the stream, you know what I mean? Because then Red has the right to be upset because that's annoying. Like, we get it, you don't like it, yada yada yada.
I mean, look at the bait I laid down under the fucking Volume 8 cover for Undead Unluck. Like, trash series. And then immediately, like, Steel Ram's like, are you expecting some sort of reaction? I'm like, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, because that fan base has gotten to the early stages of, like, fucking, like, My Hero. Like, they will defend anything, no matter how all over the place their series is. And I just wanted to prove
but
that
to
point.
Thurman's point, like, you know, you probably don't gotta just
No.
trash series all the time.
No. I rarely do it, but I wanted to prove that fucking point there. Because the second the Fuko cover came out, I knew everybody's going to defend it. Because it's a perfect symbolism for the series right now, Fuko forming into her own. But I saw an opportunity to prove what I was talking about earlier on. Like, that series is going to be the new toxic series. The one that's going to be overly defended on Twitter, and immediately,
probably because from the beginning it did.
It did the edgy.
I think it like drew in a lot of the like. This is gonna piss off the feminists.
I mean, even we did that. Like, when we did our chapter 1 reactions to it.
Where we were a little bit more lol edgy.
I respect what it started out as, because that is a definite hook. And then it fell all sorts of apart. Now it's starting to be a little bit better. Like, I still read it in chunks, but like it's still missing shit.
Just Fuko I just don't like where I think Fuko's character needs to get a little better. Once I feel like she's like is fully like independent from like Andy, I feel like because Andy can fight with or without her, but Fuko can only fight with Andy, and that's one thing I was hoping that they would get rid of. Like after they saw like training, I was like, I hope that Fuko will be on her own, but she's still
I was hoping like once she went to Under, like I was hoping that would be the thing that like, oh, she can fight on her own with more than just a gun or.
But she's like, oh Andy, shut the fuck up, bitch.
I mean, she wants to fuck them, dude. Like,
bro, like it's like it'd be like it's literally the same way like as Sakura, like after like every two like having all that training.
If Sakura, you mean when Sakura?
Like quite literally when Sakura, Sasuke.
Like all that training, all that shit to stand on her own 2 feet alongside her other teammates, and she's like, oh Sasuke, I need you to help me. Oh Sasuke, I need this. Oh Sasuke, like
Fuko's the new Orihime. I like that description.
Like, what was the point of the training then? Like, I get it. Like, her ability is like, as a team combat. Like, I think one of the best things about Undead Unluck is the team combat. It even rivals Black Clover for me, in my opinion, with the team combat and shit. But it's just like
the Sonic character. Honestly, like top 10 recent characters.
Yeah, but to me, it feels like she's not on her own. Like she's still relying on Andy to do most shit. Like that's why I was like, when she has to come in solo spring, I was like, perfect. Now we can see. I don't think she's a bad character by any stretch of the imagination. Me and Red can agree that early Fuko is actually pretty good. I just feel like she's relying too much on Andy to do a lot of stuff. And a lot of people are gonna be like, well, her power was low on Andy because Undead and the Unluck shit. Yeah, that's fine. But it's just like I really hate the implication that she has to love the person for their unluck to work on that. I think that's in my opinion,
that's a writing crutch, big time.
A shitty nerf to a power, in my personal opinion. Just to me,
it's possible to just have a character that isn't meant to be a fighter.
I guess, but I mean.
Like to me, I haven't read in a while, but like I don't know, it wouldn't inherently bother me that she isn't a fighter. The reason it's kind of annoying with Sakura and Orihime is because it felt like the author couldn't make up their mind. You know what I mean? Like
that's
with Orihime,
kind of where we're at
here's
here.
Your fucking power.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's
Fuko wants to fight and wants to help.
She has badass like that's what I'm saying. Like she's a badass character. Like the fact that she literally pointed a gun at a random person just to answer a phone, I was like, oh my god, Fuko, Jesus! Like she's not. She literally
she was literally gonna jump into an oncoming train. Chapter 1. She's pretty badass. Not to say suicide is badass, but so I'm just saying, brave at the very least.
You're right that everyone has to fight, but I mean Fuko wants to fight. Like
I'm sure she'll get there. Maybe you were just talking about fucking slow paced series.
Yeah, that's the only issue I have with like Fuko as her character. I don't think she's badly written. I actually think she's actually really good. I just don't like the fact that I think they're focusing too much on the romance part of the series right now, and I don't really care about that. Right, I don't care about the fucking.
I do. Oh well, that's just an opinion thing. I should catch up.
Like, I don't care about the romance right now. Like we get it.
The issue is they're focusing, and this is what one thing I tried to break down that helped me realize it. Like they're focusing way too much on the romance in the middle of what is supposed to be the moment that is defining the main character, basically. And all of that while hunting down something that will end the fucking world.
Bro, you have no idea. I'm such a fucking slut for romance. Like,
Yeah,
I love my romance manga, dude, but like you're focusing on 3 things and trying to put it into 20 chapters.
well, another reason that it's interesting reading that series for me is because Fuko, like, I think out of every manga character I've ever seen, if I had to like find a manga character that looks like my girlfriend, it's Fuko.
Like Fuko, like I don't think she's bad. I think she needs a little bit more.
Even down to the beanie love.
Like I think she needs I don't think she's better than like Noelle and Nobita yet, but like she's
Yeah,
definitely
far from that. Oh god.
like she's definitely better than like Sakura in my opinion. Like Sakura or I don't know Horihime.
Here, okay, wait.
The only reason you like Orihime is the milkers.
I have a question. I've been waiting to ask this for like a half hour. Okay, 2 questions. One, David, so you're recording this whole thing, and then we're gonna cut it up. How's that work?
Yeah, I'm recording this as like one video here, like what we're doing right now.
You have space for that and shit?
Yeah, I got space for that.
Okay, cool. All right, now write down this timestamp for me because I have a perfect idea for a video that I wanted to do for a long time.
Okay, one second.
You got it written down?